Okay, hey everyone. I guess we may get started now. Um, Let me just set up a few things here. There are still people joining. Okay. Now I guess that's better. So, am I audible, guys? Before I get started, let me check that. Okay. So, I'm still seeing there are people who are joining. So, let me just quickly accept them. Yeah, I guess someone is taking care of that. Thank you. So, yeah, welcome everyone to this awaited session. Yeah, so in this session, we'll be telling you about more what A2SV is and how you can be part of this tech community. Yeah, so the session is designed for you to be introduced to how A2SV operates and how things are done in A2SV, like application process and everything. But before we dive into that, I guess it's customary for me to introduce myself. My name is Abed Begasho, as you can see from the name, and I'm an in-person head of education at A2SV. I'm currently head of education at Sabah University. It's one of the universities that A2SV partners with, and there are also other universities as well, like at Sabah too and Adamas too as well. So there are, yeah, but I'm focused on AU for now. And today I'll be giving you this session. Just to give you a bit background about myself, I was a Generation 5 student at A2SV. Probably this is a new thing for you to hear, like Generation 5. I'll be telling you about that later on. But yeah, I joined A2SV as a student in Generation 5, and I've had the opportunity to be a head of education when the next generation, Generation 6, came to be. So that's a quick introduction about myself, and I guess we can dive into the session. So the session is outlined as follows. So we're going to be starting with a short introduction about A2SV, like who A2SV is, like who we are. And we are going to also see some achievements made by some A2SVians, like how much A2SV was able to accomplish. We are also going to see how the programs in A2SVs are structured, like what to expect by joining A2SV and what you should take out of it. And we are also going to talk about the reasons on why you should join A2SV, like why you should join this program in the first place. And like lastly but not least, we are also going to talk about the selection process. So every year around November, we have like this habit of accepting new generations, right? Not a habit, but we accept new students every year around November. So we are going to see the selection process for the new cohort we are going to be accepting for this month of November. And yeah, lastly, we are going to take some Q&A, some questions you guys have about it at USB, and we are also going to be answering those questions as well. We have some more people with us in this meeting, so yeah, we are going to we are also going to look to them to answer these questions. I guess if you all are ready, we can continue. Are you guys ready? Just let me check if everyone is listening. Okay. It's nice. So let me quickly describe what A2SV is like and how A2SV came to be. So, in short, A2SV is a non-profit organization which is dedicated to building a sustainable tech ecosystem in Africa by empowering the continuous and the continent's brightest minds. So, what A2SV basically does is it tries to harness the talented individuals we have in this continent, in Africa, and tries to use those talents to tackle some of the continent's largest problems, like in terms of digital solutions. So this was an initiative started by our CEO and founder, Emery Varro. I think I'll show you his picture later on. It was started in 2019 in Gregorian calendar, and it started as just a single group of students at Addis Ababa University, and it's grew every year, and it is at a stage that it is now. So yeah, it started at AU, as I've mentioned. It started in 2019, and throughout the years, FSV was able to expand throughout the universities in and around the area. Like at 2022, FSV was available at at Addis Ababa, and 2 years later after that, it is been uh, like it has had a presence at Adama Astu, the other sister branch of the science and technology universities. And yeah, and now currently these universities are growing. Like the number is growing now. Now ATSV is expanding to Rwanda, as you guys have seen in the past weeks. So there are two more universities joining these partnerships, like the University of Rwanda and Adventist University of Central Africa, I guess, or AUCA in short. But yeah, you probably can check out the posts for that. But yeah, this is how ATSP has been going so far. And so yeah, what we basically have is we basically train a, a certain number of students every year, and equips them with top tech educations, and gives them the tools that they need to tackle the continent's biggest problems through some digital projects that they are going to be working on. So let me quickly tell you about how ATSV does this. So basically the program overview. In ATSV, we have two programs, an in-person education and a remote education as well. So the first one that came to be was in-person education, as you guys know. So it started at AU, as I've mentioned, and after 2 years after that, there was also remote education starting. I think it started at around 2021, if I'm not mistaken, or 2022. So yeah, but in both of these programs, we basically follow the same curriculum. So let me show you what we do. So basically, there is always going to be an application process at November, right? I've established that earlier. So right around November, so we always try to accept some talented individuals that are currently involved in one of the higher educations in the country, in Ethiopia, or maybe like all around the world. And we tried to push them through these phases. These phases are generally how a first-year education at ATSV is structured. So right in the first few weeks, they are introduced. They are going to be having an onboarding phase, and after that, there is going to be first education phase and the camp phases. And right after the first camp, second education phase again, and the next one that's coming after the second education phase is the project phase, which is the phase in which everyone that has been making it this far is going to be involved on some project development. Like they're going to be dedicating some amount of time to learn some tech stack and also to use that things I have learned to produce some like impactful digital solution. And lastly, after the project phase, we are going to be having a one final set of camp, and after that, there are also going to be interviews. I'm going to dive into each one of these phases one by one and help you understand what to expect from each one. So let me just pause here and just say something here. If you have questions to ask, try to write some in the Google messages, okay? Because we are going to be having a dedicated Q&A session at the end. We are going to be addressing them soon enough. Okay, so let me just introduce you to the first year education at A2SV. So the very first phase we have for the first year education is the onboarding phase. So in this onboarding phase, the students that have been accepted to be part of the current cohort are going to be going through some ramping up, meaning like we are going to be polishing their skills so that they all are at the same level when they start. So this usually takes about like from 3 weeks up to a month, depending on the time we have. So we basically ramp up the students in basic data structures and algorithm skills. Maybe I think I have failed this. I have failed to mention this, but like the first year A2SV education focuses on two things. The majority of the time is dedicated to uh, like equipping the students with important data structure and algorithm knowledge. So because that takes time to master as well, it takes majority of our time. Uh, that's why it's taking 9 months at least. And the remaining 3 months are going to be dedicated for the project phase development and also the interviews. So yeah, that's how generally the first year education will look like. And the onboarding phases is basically part of the data structure focused phases. And yeah, so they are going to be starting with the onboarding phase, as I've mentioned, and they are going to be given some introductory level like lectures to help everyone be at the same level regarding the basic data structures and algorithms they need to know before they proceed to the next parts. The major activities here include Python track lectures. So primarily, we are going to be using Python language, Python programming language for our sessions. And so we are going to be helping students get comfortable with coding in Python. And also, there are going to be some practice sessions along with the Python track lectures as well, and some soft skill sessions like time management and also how to approach like effective guides to problem solving and things like this. And also we have some contests happening every week actually. In A2SV, like once you are part of the new generations, you are always required to be participating in weekly contests. So that's one thing. And also there are going to be also monobucks. These are like sessions in which you are going to be paired up with someone, and you are going to get to know each other, like by talking and walking around someplace. It just takes about 15 minutes. It's just some activity we do uh, for these phases. This phase is basically focused on making the students very comfortable with the group of people around them because they are not going to be learning alone. They are going to be learning along others, students like them. So they have to form that team spirit, right? So this phase is basically focused on that and tries to help the students get comfortable with the education they are about to receive. This is all about the onboarding phase. As I've mentioned, it takes about the first 3 weeks. So it takes from November 10 December up to December 24. These dates are like assuming we start at like early November 3. And right after the onboarding phase, basically it's going to take a minimum of 3 weeks. I've said that, right? So there are going to be some restructurings happening, meaning like not just at the onboarding phase, like at the end of every A2SV education phase, the performance of every student is going to be measured by some evaluation metrics, like how much attendance were they able to maintain, and also how many problems have they been solving, and also their contest performances. So these things are going to be always evaluated at the end of every phase, and the onboarding phase is no different. These things are also going to be happening, and most likely most students usually are not bothered by these things because they usually take time to dedicate to dedicate themselves to solving more problems and also attend the sessions regularly. So probably this is something you didn't worry about if you are like yourselves very well. Right after the onboarding phase, we have an education phase. We call this first education phase usually. So it's happens like if I'm going according to the university curriculums. So it happens before the first semester ends. So I've mentioned we start around November. In Ethiopian calendar, I guess that's around the third month of the year, around Hidar. So from Hidar up to Hidar Agamash Nadar, there are going to be uh, like some onboarding phase, and right after that, up to the end of the semester, there is going to be an education phase, a first education phase, in which the students are going to be learning some more like algorithms and techniques like two pointers and some sorting algorithms as well, uh, stacks and queues, and also like things like linked lists. These are the basic things are going to be covering within this first education phase. It's not very demanding as next education phase after the account, but this is a very like important part of the education phases because it gives you much more comfortable like other than knowing Python, you'll be like other than knowing Python from the onboarding phase, you'll be adding some more techniques to use in this part. So you'll be like covering the important algorithms you need to be aware of before we move on to the most intense and the most challenging parts of the topics. So the major activities here again don't change a lot from the onboarding phase. There are always going to be lectures on the specific topics we are going to be covering. There are always practice sessions as well, and there is also going to be a pair or triad programming. So this type of activity is you'll be paired up with someone and you'll be trying to tackle some problem together by talking about the problem and by exchanging ideas and also by helping each other implement it very well. We also have contests and contest analysis. So as I've tried to mention, contests usually happen every week, like on Saturdays. So those are the common days for in-person education at least. On Saturdays, there are going to be contests, and on like the next session after Saturday, which is going to be on Monday, there is going to be a contest analysis session happening in which we are going to be going over the most recent contests and tackle the problems we were not able to do the contests, and we'll be like discussing about those problems together. And yeah, that's what will be happening. And lastly, there is also a mock interview live session. So this mock interview live session is basically supposed to simulate a top tech technical interview. So we are going to be talking, like we are going to be practicing some mock interviews in this education phase as well. So as I've tried to mention, the topics we're covering in this education phase are not like a lot. They are about 5 or 6 marks. So, but they are designed to help everyone get comfortable with learning some more data structures and algorithm topics. Uh, yeah, I guess that's what you need to know about the first education phase. And right after the first education phase, there is going to be a camp phase. So the camp phase, we usually call it the first camp, and it's usually the most intense part of A2SV education. By intense, I mean it takes a lot from you, and also it also gives back a lot of things back to you. Um, by this, what I'm trying to say is like you are going to be dedicating a lot more time in this camp phase to your day education, but at the same time you would feel like you are like too exhausted and everything. But at the end, when you come out of the camp phase, you are going to be like proud that you have went through this phase. So this camp phase is, just to summarize it, it's not too different from the education phase. Like I think I've failed to mention it so far. So in A2SV, the normal education hours, because there are classes and everything, are happening from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. like during the night hour, or from 11 LDT up to LDT in local time, in East African time. But during the camp phase, you are going to be required to be attending the sessions full day. Meaning, like, you are going to be provided some dormitories, of course, if possible. So you are going to be provided some dormitories through our communication with the university, uh, like dormitory administrators, and also you are going to be attending sessions in person, like with us for more than like 8 hours a day. Like the usual education hours are like normal working hours. You are going to be starting at early in the morning at 9 a.m. and you are going to be staying up to 6 a.m. No, 12 p.m. in the afternoon, and you are going to be having some 2-hour lunch break, and after that 2-hour lunch break, you are going to be starting again at 2 p.m. in the afternoon, or 8 local time, and you will be continuing until uh, 8 p.m. and until the night. So that's, I don't know, like that's 6 plus 9. That's about 9 hours. And yeah, so we usually have a saying when it comes to camps, and it's camps are where the magic happens. I think it's probably been said by some people you probably know. But yeah, it's usually the most demanding part of A2SV education. So it's not too different from the first education phase in terms of the things we are going to see, because we are still going to see data structures and algorithms, but we are not just going to see the basic ones here. We are going to expand our horizon and try to cover some more new topics like recursion and trees, and also like binary search and some more advanced algorithms, honestly. Um, you'd be seeing those one by one, like when if you are likely to be part of the new generation. But yeah, that's what the camp is all about. But it's not actually just limited to lectures and also some practice sessions. There are always going to be like some moonwalks happening as well. So I've talked about moonwalks. There are sessions in which you get to know to some of your peers, some of the students in your class, by talking with them and by walking around with them. We are also having some learning how to approach sessions. So this learning how to approach sessions is, we are going to be we are going to be inviting some experienced problem solver, and they are going to be going over some difficult problem, and they are going to try to solve that problem in front of everyone while explaining their thought process. So this is one of the activities we do in this camp. So the whole lot of this camp is focused on like expanding your horizons in data structure and algorithms, and also helping you get comfortable to learn more, even more about the data structures and algorithms through some practice sessions and also some pair programming sessions, as I've said. So yeah, this is the camp. So far, we had the onboarding phase, the first education phase, and now the camp phase. Now, after the camp phase, you are usually tired, so there is going to be some break, of course. So a minimum of 2 week break is uh, the custom, at least. Uh, but yeah, after that 2 week break, there is going to be an additional education an additional education phase. I think it's not mentioned here in the slide, but yeah, an additional education phase, which is called the second education phase, and it's going to last more than like 2 months at least. At least it's going to be about 2 months and a half thing. So yeah, the education phases are going to be happening uh, in 2 parts. The first education phase happens after the onboarding phase, and the second education phase is going to be happening right after the first camp has concluded, and it's going to like line up with the time second semesters start with the university educations, with your academic educations. So it's going to take more than at least 2 months and a half, and it's going to be the longest education phase we are going to be taking in A2SV by far. And in this part, we are going to be tackling more topics like ever. Like you are going to be seeing at least about 15 plus topics. More than half of the topics you are going to be covering are covered during that education phase, the second education phase. And right after the second education, right after the second education phase in this, there is going to be examinations happening, right, in the universities because the times are usually overlapping. So there is going to be a phase of like break and for you to yeah yeah this education actually I think I saw a question. It's asking whether the remote if people are applying for remote education are considered for this session. So I guess yeah, if you are applying to any of A2SV's education sessions, you are welcome to stay here actually. And yeah, so there's going to be, as I've been saying, after the second education phase, there's going to be some break for you guys to like learn. I mean, finish your exams and everything. And right after you are done with the second semester, there is going to be a summer time dedicated for a project phase. So during that time, you are going to be learning some new tech stack, and also you are going to be trying to tackle some real world problem by working on some new projects. This project is not actually like a project that's existing. You are going to be identifying some problem area, and you are going to work to solve that problem using what you have learned by developing a digital solution. And during this project phase, we are going to be also like learning the software engineering principles that are going to be I think for remote education there is going to be some ordering like happening. But yeah, there is going to be a project phase during the summertime, and the students are going to be working on some real world projects. And also we are going to be having separate session or dedicated sessions to help you out on how real world softwares are developed when it comes to like top tech companies, because we are also going to be inviting some personnel from there, people who have gone through a TSFIS program and also were able to secure some top tech positions. They are going to give us a visit and also like guide us on what are the good practices in the software industry, and also how we can collaborate more. And we are also going to see how changes are deployed, and also changes are integrated within the system and everything like that. But everything related to project development part is going to be covered in this project phase. Last but not least, after this, I think for the project phase, you can, if you want to know about more about this project phase, you can take a look at A2SV's YouTube channel. About a month ago, at early September, we had a project phase demo in which the G6 in-person education students demonstrated the projects they have been doing. So it's actually one of the longest videos in this channel. So make sure to check that out if you want to know more about it. And after this project phase concludes, it's usually concludes around the month of September. And we are going to be having I think I forgot this, right? So yeah, before I move on to that, let me quickly go over this one. So yeah, during the project phase, we have 6 teams. So like we have 5 teams during the project phase that you can be part of. The first team is the product team, the UI UX team, the mobile team, the web team, and the backend team. So you'll be working in one of these teams during this project phase, and you are going to be collaborating as teams. Like you could be like a backend team lead, and you'll be collaborating with the mobile or web team to help them with integration, things like that. So as an actual teamwork, this is going to be like as an actual teamwork. So yeah, this is one of the things to expect from the project phase. And yeah, right around the end of this project phase, and right as right around the start of the last phase, which is the final count. There's going to be an interview phase. So this interview phase actually consists of several interviews. So the very first interview you should think of is applying to top tech companies. So if students are ready, are ready, like we all are like good enough with their day-to-day skills, they are going to be encouraged or like yeah, given guidance to apply to top tech companies because there are going to be openings, job openings happening right around that time. So yeah, students are going to be applying uh, to top tech companies. We call this application phase, and they are going to be having some interviews there as well. But not just that, we are also going to be having an internal interview. So the interview phase, there are interviews for top tech companies, and also there are interviews for graduating from A2SV's first year education. So once you have concluded the all of the topics that we are going to be teaching you, we are going to be having one final task or one final challenge to pass, which is internal interviews. This internal interview is just like the top tech interviews you find throughout many companies. Uh, so it's going to be focused on they say and everything, and it's going to be your final challenge to complete the ATS's first year education. So this interview phase is overlapping, as I've tried to mention. It's not like a dedicated time slot. Yeah, it says here September 24, but it usually overlaps with some of the phases. And right after the this and right after the first education, the project phase, we are going to be having a final camp. So the first camp happened right around the mid-year or around February. Uh, so another camp is going to be happening right around uh, after like September to November. Like before we accept the next cohort, we are going to be having a final camp in which we are going to be covering the most advanced topics that are there to cover. Like the topics that we usually are afraid to teach at the beginning. Now, since you have gone through all the curriculum, we are going to be teaching you those topics as well. And yeah, right. I think something I've failed to mention here in the interview phase. You're not just going to be applying for the interviews, but you are also going to be given some sessions to help you stand out like professionals. By professionals, we mean like your resumes and your LinkedIn profiles are the most common things that are seen uh, like while you are applying, right? So we are going to be having a separate session on both to help you, first of all, craft your resume according to what professional resume should look like. And also, we are going to be helping you optimize your LinkedIn profiles accordingly, because that's what usually gets you noticed when you are being recruited for. So we are going to help you make your LinkedIn profiles stand out as a professional. Uh, as a professional. So this is what one of the things that's happening in the interview phase. And I guess you saw this one. This is one of the recipients here. This is, I think it's G3 students, I believe. They had some projects they were working on and they were celebrating Saint, I guess, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. And also, yeah, just to introduce you more about the legacy program, let's see what we were able to achieve so far. So far, we have been able to have this number of top tech placements, meaning like full-time jobs in these companies. So the most is from Google. So there are around 20 people working in Google right now. So from Bloomberg, I think there are 8. Amazon, there are 4. LinkedIn, Databricks, in Palantir, they have 1, 2, 2 each. Probably these are a bit more like, I think these were from a year ago. Perhaps this number might have changed, and I don't think this includes the internships people have been getting. So if I'm not mistaken, the total number of problems, that's the total number of I'm sorry, the total number of placements or like people who have the chance to go to these companies and work there for some time is around 119 plus, including the internships and the working. The updated number is something like that. So yeah, these are the placements. This is some stats. For example, during 2022, I think this was around G4 or G3, right? 2022. I think it was G4. So for G4, for Google, we had around 44 candidate interviews. We were able to get the interviews actually, and from these 44, there were around 31 people who were able to pass that interview. And you can see this has a success rate of 70%, which I don't think like any other university in the world has these numbers. This is actually one of the highlights of being an A2S because if you apply yourself very much, you're gonna get such opportunities a lot. And there is also Bloomberg numbers. I guess the Bloomberg one is not mentioned here. But yeah, the Bloomberg one, you can say they are similar. Even like one of my co-heads that was working with me, and also he was my teacher a while ago, now is currently working at Bloomberg as a full time. So you guys can guess that there are other companies that were hiring from A2SV. So why should you join A2SV now? Like I've talked about the program. So why should you join A2SV? So there are several reasons. Yeah, the major one, like in my opinion at least, I would say it's this one. Like A2SV is basically not so different from like training a software engineer to be like well equipped to solve real world problems. I'm not comparing the education you get from from a university and from us. They are basically the same thing, but what uh, what makes ours different is the way we are delivering it. So in universities, I don't think this is covered like in full focus arts. It's covered in A2SV, and why that is important is because of this reason. It helps you improve your problem solving and soft skills. So by solving DSA problems and also by solving algorithmic type problems, you are going to be sharpening your mind and you are going to be like paving the way you think to be always in a step by step manner. So that will greatly help you become a computer engineer. Maybe like in the real world, you might not solve some basic problem to get by, but you probably will have the way of thinking. You probably will have that way of thinking. And believe me or not, after going through 1 year of A2SV education, I can give a testimony that the way I used to think before I joined and the way I am thinking right after I joined is completely different. So yeah, that's one thing you will gain by joining A2SV. But not just sharpening your thinking, you will also learn to communicate effectively, like how you convey your ideas to your fellow software engineers as well. And also, you are also going to be a grow into a problem solver as like who is going to be leading teams. You are going to be also experiencing leadership. Other reasons to join a TSP is you can also get yeah, you can also get ready to join top tech no to apply for top tech interviews. So you are going to be practicing real world coding challenges as well, and there is going to be a step by step guidance on how you should tackle interviews. Like as I've said, there is going to be a mock interview session, right? So there's that will help you get ready for these top tech interviews, and also it helps you build confidence through mock interviews. So these mock interviews are also designed to help you build the confidence you need while you are in a position of uh, like applying. Okay, so the other one other reason to join FSP is you will get hands-on experience on building software. So usually, like I'm assuming most of us here are students. So when we build something, we are just building it for the sake of building it, right? We are not taking it as our own, and uh, like we are not making it public. Like we are not deploying it. In short, that's what I'm trying to say. But when you are working like on a project, especially during the project phase, you are going to see like how your project ideas are going to be used and how they can be turned into real world products. So you would be like experiencing building softwares by actually building them rather than just by trying to learn from some tutorials. So you'll get hands-on experience on building real-world softwares, and actually most of the projects you are seeing now usually started like that. They were some projects in the project phases, and also they were moved up to be equally product projects. I think the related project is an example for that. Yeah, definitely. Another reason for you to join A2SV is to get to know uh, great teammates. So, by you're not actually improving yourself, you are actually improving your network. So, you are networking with people, with like-minded people like you that want to grow as well into being a better software engineer. So, when you when you are interacting with these people, you are going to see a lot that uh, that's going to be helping you throughout your journey as a software engineer as well. And yeah, last but not least, you'll be a part of a team aiming to change Africa. So as I've tried to mention earlier in the beginning, A2SV is a, a an initiative that's trying to solve Africa's biggest problems uh, through digital solutions and through the tech talents Africa has, right? So you'll be by joining GetSV, you'll not be just learning for yourself, but you'll also be becoming a part of a team that is going to change Africa. And so far, I think we have been seen enough, but I think it's still not there yet because we are talking about Africa and we are currently available in person in a handful of countries. So yeah, but I think the wave of change is about to be happening soon, and you'll be uh, becoming a great. You'll be part of that bigger change that's going to be coming. Okay, so last but not least, yeah, you'll be learning from seniors as well. So you'll be learning faster rather than taking like longer time to learn. You'll be learning faster because you are going to be learning from seniors who have been through where you are now and like how they have passed through that stage. So they are going to be there to guide you grow faster and stronger. And these are some experience from around the world. So I guess this is a group of students from the very first generation of ETSP, generation one. I don't think we call them that yet, but yeah, this is just one of some. These are those ETSPians. I guess this is Nahum, Avil, Yisak. I guess if I'm not mistaken by their names, but there are also more ETSPians around the world currently. So yeah, let's talk about the selection process and then we can move on to the Q&A part shortly. So yeah, uh, usually when we are selecting students to be part of the next cohort, we are usually going following this type of structure. So we always start by some application, and there's going to be some preparation you guys are going to be doing within that time. And after reviewing your application and after also seeing your preparations and seeing that you have fulfilled some requirements, you are going to be invited to have some interview, a technical interview basically, and also a behavioral interview as well. So based on that, you are going to be accepted or not accepted to be part of A2SP. But if you are not accepted, it doesn't mean you should stop applying because not just on November. We also have some additional conversions happening right twice a year actually, around February, like around the February, around the first camp, and also around July. So yeah, that's what's going to be happening for the selection process. It's not like too complicated. And yeah, I guess this is a picture of another group of recipients. And in the middle, you guys can see Imre. He's the one in the yellow and the black shirt, standing in the middle. So that's our CEO and founder. And yeah, this is him again during a hiking experience. I guess that leaves the session to be part for the Q&A. I guess we can answer your questions and answers. Your questions now. Yes, I think Nahum was answering them in the English pages, but maybe let me give chance to the people who are raising their hands. So let me go according to the order. I think the first person who raised is Haymanot. So maybe Haymanot, you can continue.
Okay, thank you so much, Abel. Am I audible enough?
Definitely yes.
Okay, thank you. So I have few questions. So my name is Haymanot. I'm currently studying applied computer technology at United States International University, Africa, in Kenya, Nairobi. So, so obviously I'm gonna go with the remote education. So I was not clear with the camp educations because you're mentioning like we'll be having those who are chosen, like they'll be having camp trainings and everything, and it will be physical. So if you can give us some brief information on that. Apart from that, uh, I saw like, the application for G6 remote education, and then there was a requirement for um, there was a number of lead code questions that we had to solve to be eligible to the application. But this time I haven't seen, so I don't know. Like, is there any requirement that we have to maintain to get in the to be eligible to apply? Yeah, I think that's my question. Thank you so much.
Okay, so yeah, thank you for that. I think if I get your question properly, you're a bit confused about the the way remote education is happening and also about the requirements, right? So let me try to answer them step by step. So the first one regarding remote education. So the phases we are seeing here in the in-person education, I think they are mentioned here as I've been talking as in-person education, but they are actually common. They are also going to be found for the remote education, but their order might differ. I think the project phase is going to be the last phase for remote education, uh, but like in terms of the things you are going to be covering, whether you are in remote or in person, they are going to be all the same. So for in-person education, you have to be you have to be a student to be part of the in-person education. Basically, from AU, from Addis Ababa too, and from Adamas too, and from Rwanda. I guess there is University of Rwanda and AUKA. It's, I guess if you are a student in these five universities, you are going to be eligible for the in-person education. Like if you are not a student in these universities, you are going to be applying for remote education. So remote education is open to anyone, whether you are not you are a student or not. Except like if you are a student in those universities, you are only required to attend in those universities. And regarding the requirements, so the requirements, yeah, there are going to be requirements, but for G7, when we rolled out the announcement, it was rolled out together, right? But usually when we post an announcement, the requirements are not actually the same for in-person and remote. So we are trying to decide some numbers that's going to be uh, shooting each and every one. So we have some post planned regarding that. So yeah, the detailed requirements are going to be mentioned there. So like when you're applying, you basically need to have a lead coding Codeforce account, of course, but you also need to have some activity on those accounts. Like you need to be solving some number of problems on those accounts, and additionally, there is going to be also a contest happening. I think I've I don't know if that have been mentioned, but there's going to be a contest happening right after you have applied. It's just going to be another criteria. And yeah, so regarding the problem numbers, I think we are going to be having a post on that, and you are going to be seeing that. But yeah, there is going to be a requirement when it comes to that. I hope that answers your question. Maybe.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Okay, Nahum, I think you have something to add over here.
Yeah. Thank you, Abel. So I think I should go over some of the sort of schedules for the remote education.
Yeah, please.
So yeah, so like the sessions that Abel was describing, we all have them. We have all those sessions in remote education as well, but the only difference is basically the amount of time we take during a day and how long the entire education phase is. So every day we have sessions starting from 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. So 3 hour sessions, and then we have just one group that runs from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. So this is for people with time zone issues and things like that. So these are for, normal education sessions, and we will have a break on Wednesday. So we have 5 days a week of sessions essentially. And then the camps, they're not going to last the whole day like the in-person education, but we're just going to extend the session time to 3 hours and 30 minutes, right? So we're going to start at 8 p.m. and we're going to end at 11:30 p.m. at night. And then we're going to be using Wednesday as well for our camp sessions. So as you guys can guess, since we don't have like enough time dedicated per day for each of the sessions, we have to make the education session last longer than the in-person education. So they finish their entire first year education within 10 months, I believe, and we finish it within 13 months. So to make up for those lost times, but all the steps, the descriptions that I will give, they apply. It's just this time, the session time difference that exists in remote education. So yeah, I just wanted to add that. Yeah.
Yeah, all right. Thank you, Nahum, for that. And yeah, if you are any confused about schedules for the in-person education, so they are usually happening from Mondays up to Saturdays. So from Monday to Friday, we have our regular session, and on Saturdays we have our regular contests. And we usually use Sundays as our as our off day. Okay, I guess there is another question from Lily Kanako. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing. Okay.
Someone.
Yeah, you can continue, Lily.
ኦኬ የእኔ ጥያቄ ምንድን ነው? ኮንተስት ማለት አይ ቲንክ በዚህ እንትን ኮንተስት አልነበረም አይደለ? ካልተሳሳትኩ ኮንተስት ይኖራል የሚለው ነገር ነው የኔ ጥያቄ። እና ሜቢ ላይክ ኮድ ፎርስ ላይ ስራ ጥያቄ ካልሰራውኝ ሊት ኮድ ብቻ ይበቃል ለማለት ነው። የኔ ጥያቄ እነዚህ ሁለት ናቸው።
Yeah, actually, you are right. There is going to be a contest happening as one of the requirements. So, if you are like if you as you have said, if you have been focusing on this part, that's probably going to be enough. You just have to make sure that you have the required problem correct. And additionally, like if there are also people who are not very much comfortable with code forces, we plan to have a dedicated session to show you how you can navigate over code forces and how you can use code forces to participate in contests that are there. So there's going to be a guidance or like a short session planned on that, which probably might happen in the early next week. But yeah, just to answer your question shortly, if you have all the problems solved on code forces, they are going to be considered. Even though like you don't have any on lead code.
ያ ኖ እንደዛ ሳይሆን ላይክ የኔ ሀሳብ ሊድ ኮድ ላይ ነው ጥያቄ የሰራሁትኝ ኮድ ፎርስ ላይ ምንም ጥያቄ ሰርቼ አላውቅም። ሊድ ኮድ
Still
ላይ
the
አይ
same
ቲንክ
thing. Yes.
ኦኬ
Like
እንደዛ
no one is going to be considered, but you still would have to participate on the contests.
ኦኬ ኮንቴስቶቹ መቼ ነው ላይክ
Yeah, the contests are going to be happening. I think the some dates are going to be announced. It probably happens once the application closes. So yeah, that's one of the plan. I think it's going to be closing on early next week, right? 2 weeks, probably on Tuesday or on Thursday. So right when that's closed, the contest is going to be happening. Okay, so yeah, I'm seeing a question regarding community education. So yeah, for community education, so far we have been focusing on in-person in the education, in-person in the remote education, but there is also a community education, as some of you might know. So this community education is just like one form of education A2SV provides, and it's there for you to get prepared until the next window opens. So like as I've tried to mention, for both in-person and the remote education, there are going to be conversions happening right around March and right around right around February and March and right around June and July. So for that, those are additional spots that you might consider applying to be part of the current cohort. Like if G7 is applying right after the first camp, there might be a conversion happening. So if you want to join like in the middle of it, and if you still have a good education level, you can use a community education. So yeah, and I don't think receiving the tailored pass for the training program is happening now. I think for community education questions, we can dedicate some other time, or we can talk over Telegram. Maybe you can feel free to talk to me on Telegram. Perhaps I don't know. We still don't have the details on the courses. Okay, there are two raised hands. I guess you guys can continue. Let me see who's first. So I guess it's Zacharias. Zacharias, you can continue. And guys, since we still have time to be done until 10:30,
Okay.
let's go on with the question.
My question is on the transcript, and I have been asking my school to send me my student copy, but they're not replying that much fast since our registration was within this 2 weeks. So they were busy and they couldn't give me my transcript. So how could I apply to the remote education when I don't have my student copy? And that was my first question. And my second question, could I just apply using some printed out copy from my account, my registration account?
All right. So yeah, just to clarify one more time, and when we say transcripts, we are always talking about the university's course you guys have. Like especially for the in-person education, we are talking about the university results you have. But even for remote, if you are learning at a university, you still are required to submit such a result, right? And as you have mentioned, like if you are not able to get a copy of like your student copy of your results. Maybe you can collect some of the copies of the results you have for each year, and you can create a PDF for them, and maybe you can apply using that. I don't think if you have some of the results, I think you can do that. Even if you have the registration account, as you have said, I think you can also try to download your results from there. I guess I hope that's okay. Maybe if Nahum is here, you can add on this
Okay.
because I think you are applying for it, right?
Sorry. Our grades are posted on online portal. Usually, we're not given a paper form. Each year has passed. So how can we do that? Are we going to just screenshot the our results and add it to PDF?
Definitely, yeah. That's also going to work as long as it's a valid result, meaning the logos and everything can be seen. And if it can be verified like that, I guess that's allowed. You can take a screenshot and you can try to create some PDF of your results, and you can apply using that.
Okay, thank you.
And the next question is by Samuel. I guess Samuel, you can continue.
Okay. My question was, is there in-person education at Addis Ababa University this year?
Okay, yeah, I guess that's been the question that's been a discussion point a lot. So I think it has been announced on the discussion groups, right? So there is going to be in-person education at the university, although it's not going to be continuing. It might not be continuing in the campus, but it's going to be in a walking distance from the campus. So it's going to be near around Addis Ababa University. So for Addis Ababa University applicants, there is going to be in-person education happening.
Oh, okay. So can we switch from remote to in-person? Because we didn't have this information.
Okay, so
We have been
probably
asking.
that are applied twice, right? So you thought in-person education might not be available for you, and you just filled out remote. So here's what you can do. You can apply again. It's this time when you apply, try to apply to the in-person education. When we review the applications, we are going to be looking at the most recent application you have made, meaning the dates. If it's the most recent, that's the one we are going to be considering as your actual application. So that one will be ignored.
Thank you. Okay.
Okay. Any other question? Like, okay, maybe you can continue.
Hello,
Okay, yeah,
am I audible?
yes.
Okay, my question is, how many students are you planning to take this year for this cohort?
Okay, I'm not sure about the actual number we are expecting to have because currently A2SV is navigating some financial constraints. So probably you can expect it to not be as high as it used to be in the previous years, if I'm being honest. But yeah, still there's going to be we believe there's going to be enough number of spots for the amount of people that are going to be applying. I wish I can give you an actual number, but I don't think I can because I don't have any number to tell you. Maybe like, is there any number for remote? No.
Yeah, so we had planned to take 120 to 150. So yeah, that might change depending on circumstances, but that's what we have in mind.
All right. I guess maybe that
Okay,
that helps.
yeah, it did. And I also have another question. My other question is, when we apply, what could increase our chance? I mean, what merits will you be seeing in the applications? That will be the question.
Yeah, it's just there is going to be a list of requirements as admission. Those are always going to be considered. I mean, meaning if you have fulfilled those requirements, you are going to be very much considered for the interviews and everything. Like if I can give any recommendation, is probably to have good problem solving experience, and also like if you are by chance getting to the interviews, you can try to like explain your thought process throughout the interview, not being quiet during an interview. Maybe I can say that, but otherwise, I think everyone is given the same type of judgment. Uh, yeah, maybe yeah. There is no special thing I can like really tell you. But it's as long as you guys fulfill the criteria, and as long as they are considered valid, every application is going to be considered, and we are going to be using the interviews as a deciding factor to uh, get to know more about you, basically, and that's what's going to be deciding your application.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions, maybe? Is there any questions that we haven't answered in the committees? So I guess Jonas is still asking about the community education. So I don't think the community education work is currently working that way. There is some description mentioned in the Telegram topics, right? So for now, I don't think the community education is working that way, but I think it will be resuming once the application process for G7 has concluded. Like just shortly after that, the community education might resume. Okay, hope. Yeah, if you have another question on this, yeah, you can continue having it.
Okay. Sorry, this is personal question. So, have been doing computer science and engineering back home in Ethiopia. So when I came here, there were courses that I have done in Ethiopia. So they were transferred. One of them was data structure and algorithm. So in my transcript, it's showing like credited. That means like it was transferred. So it doesn't show the actual grade. So I'm just wondering, I have to attach the grade from the university back home. I just submitted the one that's the current one, so it has the cumulative GPA and everything, but it doesn't have a specific grade for data structure and algorithm.
Okay, yeah, maybe what you can do is you can try to merge the two PDFs like into one, and you can submit them together. If one of them at least shows the result, I think that's going to be what's going to be seen. And also, you can try to explain your case in the description part. Probably, and there are some questions that help you to talk more about you, right? So maybe you can try to mention some of the things there. And I think the application reviewing squad will be handling that.
Okay, thank you so much. So do I have to? Okay, that means I have to apply again, right? So
yeah, as I've said, like the most recent application is going to be considered as a valid one. So try to do that.
okay, thank you so much.
Okay. Okay. Any other questions? Okay. Let me try to answer some questions I'm seeing here, because we still have a couple more minutes. Yeah. So, I think someone is asking about the conversion, so that did not happen in July. So yeah, honestly, on July there was some other thing going on at the time. There was some relocation happening, right? So some operations in A2SV were on resume, I mean on hold. So yeah, such things that should have happened hadn't happened. So yeah, I guess that's what I can take that is for now. But you still are welcome to apply for the in-person education, also the remote education, which one you prefer. And yeah, I guess you'll be considered for this application process. Okay. Okay, so if you are applying for in-person education, probably it's to be nice if you use like any email you have. I think here is asking about whether to use a personal email or school email. Either one works actually. So you can try to use either one. If you use your school email, it just shows that you are saying who you really you are, who you say you are. That means you are a student at that university. So if you also use that one, it doesn't hurt. But if you also use your personal email, but I'll touch every necessary information that's required, that's also fine. Yeah, I guess one question is there in person in AU? Yeah, there has been some announcement on the Telegram group WhatsApp site. There will be in-person education, not perhaps in the campus, but around the campus, like and within walking distance from AU, like 20 minutes to 15 minutes walking distance. That's what we are thinking now. So yeah, I guess that was answered. Yeah, I think this is a very important one. What topics to expect for the interview? So I think it's not on the slide, right? So when you are preparing for the interviews, the topics that are going to be needed are like the basic sorting, like basic sorting meanings, basic sorting algorithms you might have learned during your days, say, like course, like bubble sort, insertion sort, things like that. Two pointers and sliding window, of course, prefix sum, and also linked lists. No, not linked lists. Stacks and queues. Those are going to be enough. So yeah, those are the topics you should be preparing. Sorting, two pointers, arrays and matrices, of course, sliding window, prefix sum, and stacks and queues. So those are the topics that we are expecting. Will there be second round application in February? Yeah, there could be a second round application. So there might be an application, or there will, if the community education continues as planned, there might also be some students joining from the community education as well by conversion. But if if the community education doesn't resume, perhaps there might be another application to join in-person education during February, and also another one, if possible, during July. Okay, I guess different costs. Yeah, I think this is about the problem requirements. There's going to be, if you are still in the blue about the problem number requirements, those are going to be announced soon per squad, meaning like there is in-person education Ethiopia squad, right? And there is the remote education squad, and also there is the Rwanda in-person education Rwanda squad. Since we have different demographics of students here, we can't just pick some number and say everyone should do this. We are going to be announcing different numbers for each one very, very soon. And yeah, for the interview, you can use any programming language. I think Nahum has mentioned it. But if you are likely able to join the program, during your time at A2SV, you are going to be using the only Python programming language for contexts and for everything. That's what we have assembled there. Yeah, I guess Nahum, you have been answering a lot of questions here, so thank you for that. The time interval displayed reads January 1 to January 24. How is that possible? What year? In 2026, right after the beginning month of that, we are going to be having the first campus, and right around the end, right from September to up to early October, we are going to be having another camp. Yeah. Yeah. And I guess regarding the interviews, there is going to be behavioral and technical interview as well. So those are the things. Yeah, I guess here it's trying to confirm, does the interview cover only sorting, prefix sum, sliding window, and pointers, or does it also cover stacks and queues? So yeah, it covers all the topics you have mentioned here. That's what I can say for now. How long does the coding? So yeah, the coding and behavioral interviews usually last 45 minutes each, but overall you can expect the whole hour session to be at least an hour and 30 minutes, and at most to be 2-hour session. And it's going to be like then according to a time you are going to be choosing when an interviewer contacts you. Like if your application makes it through the preliminary screening phases, an interviewer will be contacting you, and you'll be able to schedule an interview. And you just need to practice on the topics you know so far, like the ones mentioned there. If you practice enough, you probably have a better chance of making it through. So, what are the requirements to pass for interview for G7? So there is going to, just to summarize that, there is going to be an interview requirement. I mean, there's there is going to be a problem number requirement. There's going to be an essay grading. You are also attaching an essay when you are applying, right? Those things are also going to be graded, and also we are also going to see your resumes as well, and your online presence and everything. Just to know more about our applicant and what your intentions are by joining A2SV, what do you aim to achieve? So yeah, the interviews perhaps, yeah, you can expect them to start after November 10 because I think that's the time the application closes, right? So that's when the application closes. You can expect to be like to be interviewed at least. I hope that's all of the questions. I hope they have been answered. I guess that's every question, I guess. Right? Do you have any other questions, maybe? Only the AC program is included in A2SV. No, we have the AC program, which takes about 9 months, but we also have a project-phase development track. I mean, it's a phase in which you are going to be learning some tech stack, and we are going to be trying to solve some real-world problem by building some digital solutions there. So, yeah, not just the AC, but also project development as well. And that's just the first year. If you make it to the second year, you are also going to be having a secondary education fully focused on project development. Is the deadline on November 10 or after November 10? Yeah, it's actually, I think it says on November 10, right? So the deadline. So you can expect it to be on November 10, right after November 10. November 10 will be the last day. Right after November 10, there will not be more applications unless it's said otherwise. We can't really say that because it really depends on the amount of applicants we get throughout the time. If I say some number now, that number might change through the remaining days. So, yeah. How many questions will be asked in a technical interview? It's just a single question, but you have to explain your thought process and the solution idea very well. And yeah, that's how it's going to be happening. There are hands being raised. I'm sorry, I haven't seen them. So let's see. I think I saw one hand by Eyob. Eyob, you can continue since we have just 2 minutes remaining. Yeah. Eyob, if you don't have any question, I guess you can lower your hand maybe. So, yeah, regarding solved problems, yeah, as Nahum said, both are going to be considered. The amount of problems you have solved on conferences and the amount of problems you have solved on LeetCode. both are going to be considered. The sum is going to be seen. Okay. Yeah, for the contest, yeah, the topics you can expect them to be the topics that we have just told you. So I guess that's a good question. What does it mean by behavioral test on the interview? No, it's not the behavioral test. Actually, it's a behavioral interview. So a technical interview will be just assessing your coding skills, while a behavioral interview will be assessing you as a person, like what you plan to achieve in life and what you like aim to achieve by doing A2SV. What do you expect? Generally, to understand what kind of person you are. And Antonio, you can continue, I guess, since we still are out of time. We should be done soon. And you guys have a lot of questions, but yeah, it's got. You can continue, Antonio. Okay, so it says can students from other colleges near AU, like Hilco, BITS, apply for professional education? I don't think they can apply if they are students other than AU. So if you are for in-person education, as I've said, if you are applying for in-person education in Ethiopia, you have to be a student at AU or at Amastu or at Sawastu. Other than that, you can't be part of in-person education in Ethiopia. But the others can be part of Hilco. Hilco BITS and the other private colleges can apply for remote education. I think I'm not even sure, but there is also a dedicated education not some for some of but the others can be part of Hilco. Hilco. Yeah. Yeah, if you need the recording of this meeting, you can find it in the YouTube live stream. It's being live streamed on YouTube, so you can find this here as well. Yeah. And I guess that's every question, if I'm not mistaken. I guess we should be done here now, right? Okay, Anton, I still was giving you the chance. You haven't spoken so far. Yeah, you should be submitting it again. I think Nahum said that. You can submit again and it will be fixed. The most recent application you have submitted will be the one that's going to be considered. Okay, I guess we can be done here, guys. And let's see the code for today. We can end the session here. So I think it's a customary notice fee to have a code of study at the end of every session. So for today's code, the code goes like this. It's by Malcolm X. It says, education is a passport to the future. For future tomorrow belongs to those who prepare for it today. And I guess this is where the quote leaves us. Thank you everyone for being part of this session. And I hope everyone good luck. If you guys still have more questions, you can feel free to reach out on Telegram. Probably you might find me. I have the most recognizable names these days. And also you can also write in the groups, our social media team, and also me as well. I'll try to respond to some of the questions there. Yeah, and you guys can have a good day. Maybe is there anything you'd like to add now?
Okay, yeah, I guess I wanted to say that we'll be sending in the interview preparation kit on the community channel later today. So just watch out for that, and you could get like more detailed answers for some of your questions here. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be a great help. Thank you, Nahor. Yeah.